Hello everyone, welcome to Glitterati Talks, where the spotlight meets the soul. Today I have a very special guest with me, Cliff McClelland. Did I say your name correctly?
Oh, McClelland, but it's close enough. It's McClelland, McKellen, McKellar. Sometimes they call me Chris. It's just whatever.
Okay.
There will be a link at the end of the video.
There will be a link. So Cliff is an actor, an educator, a director, a producer, filmmaker, and what else?
Decent pastry chef. I normally just have to buy it in the freezer section, though. Want to warm it up, put it in the oven. Perfect.
Well, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
So with all of these different hats that you wear, is this something that you sort of planned on doing, or was this sort of following a passion that eventually led you to your purpose?
Well, I grew up in theater. I did theater and choir and everything when I was younger, but I always thought I would be a neurosurgeon. That's what I really was going to go to college for, but the second I stepped onto stage again in college, I was like, no, I want to be in theater. I want to teach theater. That's, I think, where my passion and my love is.
Mm-hmm. So you started off in teaching theater?
I was teaching English and theater. And then, I don't know, my theater program grew so much that I didn't have time to teach English anymore. And so it was just strictly theater. I started teaching in the little burg of Cedar Hill, the Longhorns, woo! And then went to DeSoto for a little bit bigger program. That was the Eagles, green and gold. And then I was recruited into Richardson for a magnet school opportunity to be the director of a pretty big magnet program. And I was still the Eagles. It was purple and gold. So, yeah.
Okay. Wasn't there some moment that I think you told me about where you knew that this was what you wanted to do, like an inspiring moment?
Yeah, I think the first time, and it depends on exactly what we're talking about, because being a teacher, being an educator, I knew the first time I directed a show, I directed a musical, and the kids stood up to take their bows, and the audience was on their feet. And you don't have to be on stage to appreciate everything that's going on, and to get all of my kids that I'd worked with for 6-8 weeks, and just watch their faces beaming as everybody was on their feet, applauding for them. I'm just like, I could probably do this forever. And then the nice thing about teaching was that it gave me my summers free, so I could audition for local community theater and try and be in an extra in a movie every once in a while, things like that.
Okay. So from teaching, you went into acting?
Yeah, I mean, I've always acted. Not very well, not even in college. I didn't get it. And that's the other fun thing about being a teacher. Sometimes you're there when a young actor gets it. I didn't get it until I was in this little community theater show after college. And it was a Good Man, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I was Charlie Brown. Because I look like Charlie Brown, the incompetent boob that, can't get anything right. That's kind of been my modus operandi for my entire life. But we went to an elementary school to study the kids. The director knew a principal. And I saw this little kid. And they were playing soccer, and I'll never forget this. This dumpy little, probably third grader, looking at his shoes and looking at the grass. And the ball is way over there, and he looks up, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go. And then he's looking at his shoes, and the soccer ball literally passes him. All of the kids pass him. He's looking at his shoes. He walks to the other end of the field, and then he's like, where's everybody? Oh, and then he turns around, he looks at his shoes, and he walks the other way. And I'm like, that is Charlie Brown. He has no clue what he's doing, but he's just happy in his own shoes. And so I used that metaphor every time when I was warming up for this character. And when I was getting into character, I would just sit there and I would stare at my shoes and just think, wow, my shoes are really cool. And then I'd start working on the voice and everything. And when I stood up, I was Charlie Brown. So
that's wonderful. And so when is it that you started to make movies on your own and get into directing and filmmaking?
In college, I made some really, really horrible short films that I did not know how to edit. It was basically I edited from camera to camera, which is the way they used to edit things, back in the day. And I got a little bit of work with an editor who actually had an Emmy for something way back in the 50s. And he showed me some of these old editing bays that were not digital. If you made one mistake, you had to start the whole thing again. But just, having no clue what we were doing, but me and my college buddies just having fun. And then I met the guy who became my best friend. Six Flags called me because there's a list. Whenever you're a pyrotechnician, there's a list. There's probably a lot of lists for people who blow stuff up. But Six Flags was looking for a pyrotechnician, so they called the state fire marshal to find out if there were any in the area. And they called me, and I had a message to call Six Flags. And I'm like, this is Cliff McClelland, Six Flags. Did you call me? Is this a wrong number? Did I win something?
Yeah.
I was just like, did I enter a contest that I didn't know about? Yeah. And they were looking for somebody to work the Wild West stunt show. And so I'm like, heck yeah, because it paid well. I was a teacher, so I was off anyway. And then the hero of the stunt show, the guy who rides in on the cool horse and has the white hat and everything, he and I became friends. And we're like, we should do a movie. And so we wrote one. His friend John Keyes, who is a pretty big filmmaker, has worked with Michael Madsen and Arnold Vosloo from The Mummy, all these other people. And Tom would go to him and say, hey, this is what we do. And he said, why don't you start on like low budget horror? Because everybody starts on low budget horror and it's easier to get an audience. So Tom and I did that. We made a movie that was low budget horror. And we learned a lot about what not to do when you make movies. Yeah. And so it was trial by fire, and it's out there. It's not really scary. We knew we were kind of in trouble when the young ladies coming out from the screening, they were like, it wasn't really scary, but we really liked the drama. And we're like, no. So,
well, if you don't mind me asking, what was the name of that movie?
It's called From the Dark. Okay. And it's on Tubi. It is rated R. It has the prerequisite adult scenes and gore and violence and stuff, and apparently drama. And so
well, I can see why you learned a lot from that.
oh yeah, learned a lot and had the great experience of working with some amazing actors. My favorite of whom was Laura Bailey. And she, shortly after her voiceover acting took off, she now voices, This Is the End. What is not This Is Us? The zombie movie with the mushroom people that come to life. They just did the season 2 of that, but she voices the girl in that. She voices the Black Widow in all of the Avengers cartoons and video games. And she is just this amazing voice actress. Oh, wow. And she and her husband actually are in part of a Dungeons and Dragons game that got so popular online that they made it into an animated series on Amazon Prime. It's called Vox Machina or something like that. Oh. And so she's the people I met were amazing. It was really cool to work with adults, because after you work with kids all the time, it's like, well, you don't have to tell them every single thing to do. They know how to do stuff. That's awesome. So,
yeah, sometimes, right?
Well, sometimes they don't do what you want them to do, and then you're like, excuse me. Never do that again.
So that's a part of directing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So from the actors, producers, directors, or filmmakers, who has inspired you the most?
A couple people. I love Robin Williams. The world lost a great talent when he passed. But I love his movies. But my original inspiration was Jim Henson, the creator of the Muppets. I loved the Muppets and Sesame Street so much that I actually did puppets with my church for about 7 years, and actually ran the puppet troupe by the time I was a junior, senior. And we'd go to malls and do, faith-based stuff and everything. But it was, I wrote a lot of comedy, for things like that. And I think that's when I really started becoming a dramatic writer in terms of the format of starting to think about things for the screen and things live plays. But yeah, Jim Henson, I loved him so much because he loved to make children happy. And not a lot of people think about that. And I don't think, I mean, he did great adult stuff too, like The Labyrinth and, what is his big one? The Dark Crystal, which is just amazing. But the way he would write things, he would write a fart joke or a slapstick fall or something like that to make the little kids giggle. But then he would have all of this great emotional stuff between Kermit and Miss Piggy or, whoever that the adults got. So you could have those two demos, side by side, getting happy and enjoying the exact same thing and experiencing two different things.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought he was just brilliant.
Yes. I loved all of the Muppets and everything. Grew up watching that.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges that you have faced, or is there anything in particular that stands out as a major challenge in this field that you're in?
There are so many. Part of the problem now is, and it's an amazing thing. You can make a movie on your camera, and that's what we did. After we learned that Steven Soderbergh of Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and so many good movies, but he filmed a movie on his iPhone 6 in like 2016. And you find out that, the quality might be a little reduced from a RED camera or something like that, but it's storytelling. That's what's the most important. And when you plan your shots and you've got good audio, and good audio, saves the day every time, then you're going to be fine. And if you have a story that people want to hear, they will put up with a lot. Yeah. And so that was amazing. But now it has become so easy to produce that there is a glut of horrible movies out there that you have to search through. There's one company in particular, and I won't mention their name, but you can write me. No, they literally will find out what big movies are coming out, and they will do a little $15,000, $20,000 knockoff movie and title it the exact same thing and try to get it on video fast so that people don't know. I was taken in because I didn't get to go see this movie called Krampus at the movie theater. And it was like a horror movie, but it was really, really well done. And so I saw that it was out on video, and so I bought it. And it was the knockoff version. It was the worst movie I'd ever seen. I forced myself. I'm like, Cliff, you paid $3.99 for this. You are going to watch it. And it was basically just two guys racing through the snow looking for Krampus, doing pretty much nothing else. And then every once in a while, you'd see a bad costumed Krampus talking to a bad costumed Santa. Ho, ho, Krampus, you bad boy. Ah, Santa, the kids need punished. It was just so bad. And that's when I found out about that particular company, but people don't know that. Yeah. And they don't know how to find quality unless they just watch it. And so I think even though there are a lot of great indies out there, they're going to stick with things that critics talk about, the big movies coming from the big production companies, because at least they can get a star rating on those. At least they can see that 7 out of 10 people kind of like it. Which it makes it difficult for somebody who can make pretty good movies at a low budget because they want to tell good stories.
So Cliff, what is your favorite genre to act in?
I actually love musical theater. if I'm going to be performing on stage. That's the most fun. I've played like Horton the Elephant in Seussical. I've played Sweeney Todd and some big things like that. And then one summer, a director called me and she said that she was going to be doing a show called Wild Party by Andrew Lippa. And she said, it's the most challenging music you will ever sing, and you get to play a coked up, drunk clown from the 1920s who's abusive. And I'm like, no. And she's like, yes, you need to do it. And it was some of the most beautiful music I've ever had the privilege. And everybody in that cast was so talented. So the harmonies were there, and they didn't mind the fact that I can't dance. They cast me specifically to not have to dance very much. But I love great musical theater because it moves you in so many different ways. I mean, you've got, especially with the modern ones, the plot is woven into the music, and so you're singing action and stuff like that. But music, I mean, I love the title of your show, because music, it just speaks straight to your soul. Whenever I'm writing, I have soundtracks that I'll listen to. Normally, something by James Newton Howard. Nothing with words, but Lady in the Lake, James Horner's Mel Gibson movie, the Braveheart.
Yeah.
Track 16 in Braveheart, it's like, 14, 15 minutes long. And I can hit that on repeat. And it just gets you right in your soul. Right now, I'm a nerd. K-pop Demon Hunters. Oh. I'll watch it once a week because the music is so good and the plot twists are just perfect. And so I love musical theater, and the fact that in the Wild Party I got to be this character that I would never be in real life. And then I got to have a death scene after singing one of the most challenging trios in musical history while I'm waving a gun around talking about who's it gonna be, who's it gonna be, who's it gonna be, who's it gonna be, who's it gonna be. And it's like, oh, and then like it's so intense and I'm so chubby and I get shot in a fight and then I'm lying on the bed trying to be dead. And this is intimate theater and I'm laying here like,
oh my goodness.
I'm just like totally out of breath. I'm like, die, Cliff, die. I can't. I have to breathe. Wow. It was just so fun, but still the audience was just wrapped up in it. And it was great. And beyond that, if I were to just pick acting for a regular play or acting on screen, it would be comedy. Because those are my heroes.
Yeah. I can truly understand. Oh, the scene that you were talking about reminds me of Les Mis. That's my favorite musical.
Oh, I love it. Who am I? Yeah. Yes. Love it, and I love the movie, except for Russell Crowe, who can't sing. He sings badly. Great actor, but Hugh Jackman as Jean Valjean, man, wonderful. Anne Hathaway, it was truly a beautiful movie.
Absolutely. So, if you could be any character, real or fiction, who would it be?
Who would it be? I think if I could play any character, I would love, and I actually, so I do a little bit of stand-up, and I have a joke that I didn't get into stand-up when I was younger because the fat blonde guys die at like age 30. They're 35. We lost John Candy. We lost Chris Farley. I'm like, I waited to get into comedy later, after I passed like 40 or 50. That way I don't have to worry about just falling dead. But I would love to play what if Chris Farley was still alive? What would he be like at my age? Because he was just always so crazy and fun and silly. And then when you talk to, or when you like read about the things that his friends wrote about him, and you just realize what a genuinely nice guy he is. And same with John Candy. There's a biopic that just came out, a documentary about John Candy, and everybody just loved him so much because he was so silly and fun and kind. Because you don't necessarily see that on screen, but when you get that, and so if I were to actually be able to be somebody that I would want to be, I would want to be the winner of the biggest lottery ever. And I wouldn't want to tell anybody about it because I would want to disappear, and then I would just like to support people. I would like to find people who need help and send them money. And one of the places I would really help is children's medical. I was dating someone once whose 3-year-old niece had leukemia, and she was dying. This little girl had been through chemo. She was bald. She didn't know where she was most of the time because of the drugs, this poor little beautiful baby. And we visited her at Children's, and it's the most wonderful place in the world. I mean, they've got train sets, they've got, spaghetti and meatballs and hamburgers, and everything smells so nice. And I'm like, if we can do that for kids, why can't we do that for adults? Why when you go to an adult hospital, does it smell so bad or smell like chemicals? Why can't we treat the adults like we treat the kids? But if there's going to be a hospital that treats anybody good, treats anybody well, it should be a children's hospital, and they are God's gift.
That's beautiful.
I think somebody's going to the hospital now. It's like, sorry, sir. And action, cut. No ambulance this time. Back to you.
Back to the show. Thank you. So, Cliff, what kind of advice would you have for new filmmakers or students that are getting into this?
It's story. You don't want to look stupid by not framing things properly. There's a little rule that we see messed up all the time in film. It's called the 180 rule. If the camera is on this side of the scene, you never jump over here because the audience doesn't know where you're at anymore. So it messes them up. So never jump the 180. But those are things you can read out of a book. You have to have a good story. You have to have good dialogue. It has to sound like people would actually say it. And so study the masters. Study William Goldman, who wrote The Princess Bride. Rob Reiner. What a loss. I mean, so many, I cry through everything he does, Harry Met Sally, and Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies and favorite books of all time. But study how they put things together. He was just so funny, but he and my instructor, Charles Proctor, they were off Broadway together. And my instructor, Proctor, said that he was, the newspaper said he was going to be the next great actor. Him and Walter Matthau were being judged together, and he was going to be the next great actor. And then his mom got sick. He came back to Texas, got his master's at SMU, and he taught at the University of Texas at Arlington. But his big thing was let what happens on stage stay. So if something goofy happened, if somebody accidentally spilled something, he'd be like, "That's hilarious, leave it in, leave it in." Those 3 words defined how he directed. You find what is going to work through accident. And so I became those 2 directors. On the one time, I did want to have control of what was going on, but then I wanted to find happy accidents. And I think that works really well in film too, is let the actors act. Kind of give them some direction, but see what they're going to bring and then mold it. And if you're a really good director, and I don't know that I'm not that good, but some directors will tell you, I'm going to have them do it my way, but they're going to think that they thought of it.
Okay.
And it's going to be my secret that I got them to do exactly what I wanted them to do, and they thought it was their idea.
Wow.
And when you can do that, not only are you a master manipulator, but you know how to make people feel good about themselves. And when they feel good about themselves, they're going to give their best performances. And that's what you want.
Yes. Well, those are very helpful tips.
Just come to me. I'll tell you anything I know. Actually, I think I've told you everything I know. Sorry, I'm out.
So Cliff, in addition to all of these things that you're doing, acting and producing and directing, you're also an author.
Right.
And this is one of your books, Dust to Dust. And there's a quote on here, sometimes memory is more painful than death. So what kind of books do you write?
Well, I started out writing plays, and I am a published playwright, and my plays have been, they're basically for high school, but they have been produced in high schools around the world, so that's kind of fun. One of my plays was in Luxembourg last year. I had to look up where Luxembourg was. I knew it was in England. I mean, knew it was in Europe. I just didn't know where. I've always wanted to write novels, but they take such an investment of time. That actually took 8 years of my life. And not like you write every day, but when you're in the middle of teaching and directing, sometimes you get home till 11 or 12, you just don't feel like writing. But I went through a really, really difficult time in my life where I found myself in a bar a lot. And I ended up in a very, very bad spot. And as I was coming out of that, I realized that it was like coming out of a burning house. It's like you could have lost your life there, but you made it out. And there's all this wreckage that you're going to have to sift through, but you're alive. And so I got to thinking about that, and I love Spielberg movies, especially his old stuff, E.T. and Always, about the ghost plane firefighter, and just all of that magic, all of that fantasy. And so I started writing Dust to Dust as a movie script because it was just very filmic in my head. But then I realized it was too big of a story. This guy who loses his wife and son in a house fire. And so he doesn't want to live anymore. He takes their ashes to Ireland to spread them. And then he's just going to take his own life because he just can't imagine living without his family. And then he sees fairies. And he finds out that if you can complete 3 quests, then you can get into the kingdom of the fairies and you don't have to have human emotion anymore. And for a while I was kind of going through that because I am so tired of just feeling bad about myself, feeling like the world isn't fair when really you make the world fair. The world's not going to be fair. Only your reality in the world can be fair to you, and you have to choose that. And sometimes it's a really difficult choice to make. And so I wrote it. I went to some pitch things online, and this little romance publisher liked it for some reason. It's not a romance, although I think it's very romantic. But they liked it, and they picked it up. I got to work with this wonderful editor for 9 months. I did not self-produce this. They took care of everything for me. I didn't have to, pay like a lot of the indie authors do. But it was just, it was a work of love. And when I got the first copy, I'm like, now I guess I have to start on another one.
Yes.
Because that's what you do.
Well, I look forward to reading this,
Thank you.
especially knowing the story behind it and your own trial that you went through.
Yeah.
So, but 'tis the season, right?
It is.
And since you
Yeah.
So Cliff, you have also recently made a movie, A Creature Was Stirring. This Christmas, gift giving is a no-brainer. So tell us a little bit more about this movie that you've made.
Okay, so we were going through COVID, and we were all just stuck. in our houses and trying to do teaching theater on Zoom, one of the most depressing things I've ever done in my entire life because, okay, I'm kind of an introvert. And like a lot of introverts, I do all these personas. So I learned voices. I learned, to do all this, like, if I don't know something, I'll be like, huh? Well, we don't know it. Just silly stuff like that to take the focus off of me because that's what a lot of introverts do. But I am used to doing that now. And I went from being around 100 of the most fun, creative, laughing, crying high schoolers to seeing them on a screen. And it was so depressing. All the teachers for a while, we were like, yes, no school, 15 minutes per class, 5 times a day, whatever, it's a vacation. It was hell.
Yeah.
It seemed okay for a while, but no. We missed the kids. And that started kind of earworming into my brain or brainworming into my ear, one of those two. Yeah. And what would mythological figures do if suddenly there was only like a 100th of the population in the world? How would the Easter Bunny, what am I going to do with all these eggs? Yeah. I don't even know how I got eggs. I'm the Easter Bunny. I don't do eggs. Yeah. What is the leprechaun going to do if he can't be out there? Everyone have a bear on me. St. Patty's Day. And what is Santa going to do when he doesn't have any kids to deliver to because they're busy hiding from what turns out to be, in the movie, a zombie apocalypse. Yeah. And so trying to figure that out, and I started talking with my buddy from the stunt show, Tom Zembrod, and I said, I think we could do this. I think we can make a very small movie with a lot of heart, and it's mostly just going to be us. Yeah. And so I wrote it. He went through, and he very pickily, said, change this, change that, just because he's really, really good at detail. Yeah. And then we filmed it. And all the scenes that are just me, he filmed. If it was just him, I filmed. And then there, on days when we had to be together, we brought in a friend, and he did the camera. And we were the only ones in the majority of the movie. And then a former student of mine, I wrote a part for a polar bear. And we got the costume, and it worked. Yeah. And I have a former student who worked for Disney, and he played a very sad donkey. He couldn't reveal, but he said, just think about the sad friend of a certain bear. And we all knew who he was. Yeah. But because he'd played these things professionally, he was wonderful as the polar bear. And then we had a friend that we wanted to be in an app, kind of an AI companion, because I had just read about that and found it, and I tried it out, and it was really neat to be able to talk to somebody who could listen to you and respond. Yeah. And so we filmed her for that, and then we just had a few little kids, but one little girl, Rika, and we auditioned for her. Her dad drove her up from San Antonio for this one day, and now she's become a little star. She has toured with Les Mis as young Cosette. She's toured as Cindy Lou Who in the Grinch Stole Christmas. And she might even have a Disney project coming up. Oh, wow. So, but she's brilliant. She memorized all the lines. She didn't even have to. Yeah. I said, you can just read them. Yeah. But she's 6, and she came with all of her lines memorized. How often does that happen? I've got adults who don't do that. Yes. But so, we made it. We put it together. My mom financed it. And that's the only thing that was hard for me is she got to see a rough cut. And then she passed. She was 82, and she was struggling. She was in a lot of pain the last few years of her life with osteoarthritis and things like that. But she never got to see that we made it. We finished it, and it's out there.
Yes. Well, I've seen it, and it's wonderful. Thanks. It's humorous. Dark humor, as I call it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. And it's also won an award, Kids International Family and Film Festival.
Yeah. It was I just entered a few little things just to see. And that, I believe, was in Taiwan. And I'm like, really wish I could go there and be part of this, but we won for best script.
That's wonderful.
So
where can folks watch this movie?
Oh, it's on Tubi, it's on Fossum, it's on the Roku channel. Those are the free ones. If you want to buy it, you don't have to buy it. But it is on Amazon Prime as well. And so, yeah, it's on about 8 or 10 different streamers all over the world.
Wonderful.
So
just to get to know you a little bit better, tell me an inspirational quote or a quote that you like or an adage that you follow or a motto.
A motto? What's a motto with you? That's from the Muppets too. Oh, ooh. See, I was identified with Charlie Brown, like I told you. The other person I always identified with was Kermit because he was running a theater company and everything was constantly going wrong and all of this. But at the end of the Muppet movie, which will always be one of my favorite movies, and I don't know if I will remember it exactly, but it's like, life's like a movie, write your own ending, keep believing, keep pretending. We have done what we set out to do with the lovers, the dreamers, and you.
And you.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, is somehow in the midst of all of the crap that this world throws at you, you have to reach down deep inside yourself and find a little bitty sparkle of belief. And if you can do that, then you can frickin' do anything.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for those words
Sorry,
of
I
wisdom.
didn't mean to.
You're such an inspiration.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being on our show today, Cliff. It was truly an honor.
It's the honor's all mine. Thank you so much. I appreciate you supporting it. And when you told me you really liked the movie, it didn't feel like a sales job. You really liked it, and that's what I want. I just want everybody to give it a chance.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a big budget thing, but I think we found something that has heart.
Yeah.
And that's in rare supply sometimes these days.
Especially these days, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I wish you well. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Any final words for the audience?
Hey, you don't have to be fat with a big white beard to be Santa. You just have to believe in somebody and give them gifts. Unless they're bad, then don't give them anything, including dinner. I'm talking to you, Devin. No, I'm joking. Devin's my son. I love you. Oh, great. Now I'm snorting. Okay, it's all over. Bye.